It's no secret that the majority of e-bikes sold are actually commuter bikes. And all over the world, hundreds of thousands of people are using these bikes to get to work, to buy the groceries, or simply just go and hang out with their mates the other side of town and have a coffee. But to get to the mountains, you actually need an e-mountain bike, right? Well, maybe. I mean, if you think about it, most people probably wouldn't expect their Golf or their Astra or their 5 Series BMW to do the work of a Land Rover. So would it be unfair to expect this bike to do everything? Could you actually mix the rough with the smooth, the Coke cans with the sheep or the grip of tarmac and concrete with something a little bit more unfriendly? Well, today we're going to find out. Now, being a bit of a bumpkin, I actually love the hustle and bustle of the cities, dodging the cars and the people and the taxis, but my heart definitely lies in the hills, the trees blowing, bleating sheep, just getting involved in it all. You all right? Now, there's actually an added twist to today's story. Now, if you think about it, most of us usually use our own vehicles to transport our e-bikes into the mountains, into the wilds, offbeat, off track. But today, we're going to attempt to use public transport to get there. For me, this is slightly uncharted territory, and I'm already feeling slightly nervous. First thing to do is go and get a ticket. Right, so that nervousness is already kicking in. I mean, do I take my bike inside? I guess I do, right? Ooh. Wow, this is all very civilized. Today's tickets only. Right. Right, well, first things first, let's get this ticket. Now, I'm looking to get the 10:34 to Abergavenny on the Great Western service. Do I need to book my bike on the train?
Not that one.
No.
You'd need to, if it was a high-speed service.
Right. So if it was high speed, I'd have to book it on the train, but not this one.
No, because it's a local stopping service. It's
okay.
It's only the high-speed ones.
Okay.
Country services.
Okay, great. Thanks very much. Now I'm at Bristol Temple Meads, a famous British train station. I just picked up my ticket from a very friendly ticket officer. And I've got to say, it's all pretty calm at the moment. I expected it to be carnage. Now I need to get platform 5. Oh, there's platform 5, Cardiff Central. And obviously we change en route. So the next step is to get onto platform 5, which might be the first difficult step. Wow, just for bikes. Wow, this is an absolute dawdle. Brilliant. So, great news, you can take an e-mountain bike onto a train and for no added cost either. Now, there are restrictions, but that depends on the service provider, and that's primarily down to peak time travel and maybe some high-speed trains. So, all you need to do is actually check on the services on your individual country. It's worth noting that for foaling bikes, and of course there are some foaling e-bikes, you can actually take those on trains in the UK anytime at all. So all I need to do now is get on the train. As you can see, there are hundreds and hundreds of bikes here at Bristol Temple Meads. I'm just thinking, these guys need to be in the hills. I'm still slightly nervous before getting on the train, so I've just checked out Great Western website, and it actually says you can send them a tweet to make a reservation to put your bike on the train, or alternatively, just send them a WhatsApp message to reserve your space. I mean, how cool is that? So it looks like all you need to do is find the bicycle sign on the side of the train, or actually speak to the porter on the station platform. On we go, I'm really excited. In she goes. Now the bike we're using for today's adventure is a proper commuter e-bike, specialised turbo vado with a custom RX tuned street motor in there, which is specifically designed for urban environments. It's got a 460 watt hour battery, and in the advert it talks about all those things I mentioned earlier, going to the shops, visiting your mates for a coffee, but no mention of mountain biking. Well, this is all very civilised, looking out at the traffic jams rather than being in the middle of them cursing. I just hope there's going to be some in-flight refreshments. So, one bike off and one bike on. Wow. Well, here we are, it's sunny Abergavenny. Great, well I think it'd be rude not to go for a bacon roll before we head to the hills. Well, that was a pretty cruisy journey from Bristol Temple Meads. We got to Newport, did a quick switch over, and then caught the train up to Abergavenny, which is where we are now at the edge of the Brecon Beacons National Park. So our journey is going to be up into the hills by a means of cycleway, main road, narrow country road, and then, hopefully, onto the hillside. Now, I'm just looking at the rangefinder on the Specialized website. For my rider weight, it seems that I can probably do about 26 miles in sport mode in hilly conditions, but if I change that out to mountainous conditions, I can get about 3,000 feet of climbing, but only 11 miles. Now, our route today is between 5 to 6 miles and about 2,000 feet. And judging from the app, it seems we can probably do that in turbo mode. So, well, there's only one way to find out, right? Now, the first part of our journey, and only 10 meters from the train station, is a cycle path, which is the first part of our journey. And this bike should be in its element. Wow, absolutely stunning. Oh well, maybe not as friendly as the people from Bristol, but probably speak better English. So we just came out from Abergavenny, literally just left the town centre, hadn't even left the deck, and then all of a sudden the ground went whoosh. This is an insanely steep hill climb, and like even in turbo mode, it's still quite an effort. What do you say, guys? Nothing? All right. Wow, so far so good. The little turbo vado has dealt with city streets, it's dealt with some cycle paths and onto the country roads, but now for the first time we have to dip our toe off-road. Looks okay for the first part, looks pretty steep, but I've got no idea what is actually over that brow, so let's get up there and see what we're going to deal with. Lit. Fuck, it's like the slab! So just over 1,000 foot of climbing, we've hit the off-road. It's become apparent very quickly how much the technique is different on a city bike to a mountain bike. Now, I actually did swap out the tyres on this bike from City Slickers to Maxxis cyclocross tyres. But still, the grip is really at a minimum. So I'm constantly shifting my weights forwards and rearwards, plus trying to get a little bit of momentum to get up those short, punchy climbs. So behind me is our target, and as you can see, it's a little bit steeper than I thought it was. So from my perch here on this beautiful bracken bale, I'm thinking, do we go for a right-hand approach, or do we take a direct approach straight to the summit? I guess we'll kind of work it out as we go along, but this is definitely more of a challenge than I thought it would be. Wondering about my clothing. Now, I did actually come prepared with waterproofs, with warm woolly socks and riding shoes, but it's such a beautiful day and I thought, well, all we're doing really is coming for a spin from the city out in the countryside. I'm not going on any mega expedition or something like that. So I thought, well, I'll just keep my puffer on and my jeans. I know someday we could finally be. Well, we've very definitely hit a break of slope here. The change of angle is really quite significant. And I guess this is where urban gearing meets mountain gearing head on. This is where we're a little bit of a disadvantage, actually a pretty big disadvantage, not having low gearing, which you'd find on a mountain bike. Still, we're going to give it our best shot. I think I'm going to try and section this. It's pretty full on. As you can see in the background there, the ground gets even rockier, so what awaits us, I don't know. Yeah, 1,645 feet, and yes, those are the Brecon beacons at the same height as us in the background. Ah! Get up there! Oh my God! I really don't think this bike was made for these conditions. Still, we're hammering on. That's the main thing. Wow, so close to where we began our journey earlier today, yet so different in so many respects. So busy, so quiet. I mean, it's unbelievable. There's so few people up here. 1 hour on the train and just 1 hour on the electric bike, and I've still got 3 bars of battery left on a climb which is just over 1,700 feet. I mean, it wasn't easy, and certainly in places it was very technical. I learned loads of different climbing techniques today. But the overriding story, I think, from our adventure into Wales was simply how easy it was to do it. It wasn't that expensive. We had a bacon roll. The bike is still in, I'm sure you'll agree, showroom condition. I mean, we didn't put it through any, well, you might think differently. It probably did go through a few rocks. But here we are on the summit. Success. Okay, now we're going to get back down, but that's a different story. I'm sure you don't want to know about that. We'll tell you that another time. So yeah, let us know your thoughts about city bikes. What adventures are you guys going to in the next few months? Are you going to go and buy an electric bike and go to these adventures? It really is a great way to get out and explore the countryside. If you want to see something a little bit more extreme, there's Into the Wilds with Hannah Barnes, which is a video we did last year down here. Chris has done his video, how far you can go on one charge on an electric mountain bike, which is actually quite a different tool to this one. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you like this video, and hit the globe to see more electric mountain bike videos. And remember, it's free, it don't cost you a penny. Right, another bacon roll, Brandon.